Compassion, commitment, and creativity. Three words that accurately describe Tyler Chrystal, automotive instructor at the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative in West Springfield, Mass. Here's another C word to describe him. Candidate, as in candidate for the 2024-2025 Instructor of the Year, presented by Blaster Corporation in association with the North American Council of Automotive Teachers. Hi again, everybody. I'm Doug Kaufman with Tomorrow's Technician. I'm here for our final visit in this year's program, and let me assure you, the quality of nominees has stayed consistent all year long. Tyler Chrystal has the ability to make complex automotive concepts accessible to all his students, regardless of their initial skill level. His hands-on approach ensures that each student gains practical experience, allowing them to apply classroom lessons to real-world situations. Whether it's diagnosing engine problems, learning the intricacies of electrical systems, or mastering advanced repair techniques, Tyler's students walk away with the confidence and knowledge needed to excel in the automotive industry. The colleague who nominated him says Tyler has used an unconventional project to make a lasting impact on his classroom by introducing his students to the concept of a custom-built off-road race vehicle. This hands-on project not only showcases his exceptional teaching abilities, but also integrates a variety of automotive systems, including suspension, drivetrain, and engine modifications, making it a comprehensive learning experience. Instead of sticking to traditional classroom demonstrations or simple repair tasks, Tyler took the challenge of building a rugged off-road vehicle from the ground up. He sourced parts from various manufacturers, encouraging students to analyze and determine which components would perform best under extreme conditions. The project became a great way for students to apply theory to practice while learning the ins and outs of vehicle dynamics, chassis construction, and advanced mechanical systems. Let's hear more from Tyler Chrystal.
What led me to teaching was originally I went to another trade school that's in the town over, basically. And at first I was kind of in the program, not really super bought into it yet my freshman year. My sophomore year, I got a job as a dishwasher in a restaurant. And, every day just leaving there soaking wet, walking home in the wintertime. And it was like, oh man, I can't do this. Wait a minute. I'm going to a vocational school so that I can learn how to fix cars. Why am I not fixing cars? So what I ended up doing was going out and kind of pounding the pavement, and I found a local shop that picked me up. And when I went back to trade school the next year, I was a lot more, into it because I'm making money to go fix cars. And my junior year, I had gathered a lot of knowledge. I had a lot of workplace experience at that point, and I had a teacher who, he was great. He was just the best. I still go and visit him every now and again. He's just couldn't be a nicer guy. But I was a teenager, and I used to kind of try and jab him a little bit. You just couldn't get a reaction out of the guy, and I would go up to him and say, "You know what, old man? One of these days, I'm going to come take your job." And instead of taking that in a negative direction, he just said, "You know what? I think you'd be great at it. You should do it, Tyler." And so it was always kind of rolling around in the back of my head. And I went on years and years in the field, and, you get kind of a little bit of burnout, and you're always looking for what's the next challenge. So I actually started teaching at a local college only about 3 years ago. And last year was my first school year with this school that I'm at now, Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative. The collaborative is a really cool school because not every town in the area has its own trade school. So it sends kids that are going to a conventional high school, and they come into our program if they are interested in the trade. So it gives a lot of opportunity to different schools in the area. And now I've been there. This is my second school year. So far, it's been great. I can't believe the reaction from the kids. And I've only been teaching 3 years. Just to even be considered as a nominee, or the students nominating me, I was so taken aback. I couldn't believe it. People. First of all, I think that being a teacher, a lot of the kids, they don't just see you as a teacher, but a lot of them should see you as a mentor. So always lead by example first. In my shop, I'm extremely strict about, wearing your uniform shirt, buttoned up, tucked in, collar straight, having a little bit of professionalism and kind of, owning your own appearance in the shop. Throughout the school, there's never any issues with our automotive kids, or, I should say very few. Everyone goes through the school, they're in their uniform, everyone has their safety glasses on at all times in shop. When administration comes in, everybody has a wrench in their hand, they're actively working on things. We do service a lot of teachers' cars, a lot of students' cars. We teach, the kids on every customer vehicle, and there's obviously a very high expectation um, of what the work requires. So you're not given a half-hearted repair. You're really going through, and we try and emphasize multi-point inspections, looking over the entire vehicle every time it's on the lift, giving people a state of health the same as you would go to the doctor's office. You're not going to go to the doctor's office and then just, oh, okay, well, I just patched up your boo-boo and off you go. Well, we're going to look at some other things. We're going to look at, why did this problem start? What else do you need to worry about? And you need to keep a rapport with your customers. So a lot of times with teachers' cars, a student going and telling the teacher, hey, this is what's going on with your car, it gives them a little bit more respect for the students, what they're learning, and how bought into automotive repair that they are. The way that we balance the classroom and shop responsibilities, we do have a lot of the program. We do spend time in class learning the theory of everything. How does it work? And then, we're obviously going to go out in the shop and we're going to put that knowledge to test. We're going to try it out on the vehicle. We're going to go through, do all the diagnostic procedures we talk about. I try and incorporate a lot of things from the shop into the classroom. So it might be like a repair order practice, and you're just getting, a customer concern or a customer complaint, and just an evaluation of what you would see looking at that vehicle. And then you kind of have to reverse engineer the problem and figure out, okay, well, if this is wrong and that's wrong, then this is what we're going to do about it. Some of that would include, say you're doing a timing belt. I might not tell them anything beyond, we're going to replace the timing belt, but they need to be aware of all the other components that you would need to service at the same time. So they're required to use all data. They're required to use the shop manuals, so they can look up labor times. They can look up what other parts are you going to interact with, things like that. And they also do have to shop for the parts on things like that. Anytime that I can bring the shop into the classroom or bring the classroom to the shop, that's great. In the shop, they're teenagers. That might be the way that they observe it. In the shop, we do all sorts of different projects. We have some people, they want a lift kit. Some people want to do performance upgrades to their vehicle. We do a lot of that stuff. Anytime that I can work with the students to improve their vehicles, I absolutely want to do that. There's been a number of other projects that we've done, just putting lift kits in trucks, lift kits in Jeeps, things like that. If a student has that kind of a project, well, I'm more than happy to take that on. I want them to be exposed to as much different aspects of the automotive industry as possible.
Right.
In my background, I've worked on cars and trucks. I've worked at independent shops. I've worked at dealerships. I've worked on heavy equipment. I've worked on light duty, medium duty diesel trucks. I worked on everything. So it doesn't matter if they're bringing in a snowblower that won't start and they're trying to fix it up for their dad. It doesn't matter if it's, a lift kit. It doesn't matter if it's, we have a landscaping department. We fix up some of their tractors too. Anytime that they have a wrench in their hand and they're doing something that they're engaged with, I mean, that's just my main goal at the end of the day. Absolutely. If, for me, it's brought me a lot of personal success and a lot of, fulfillment in my career, just having that kind of driving force. And ultimately my goal is I just want to be that for somebody else. I want to, present them with the same opportunities that I was given and give them the same quality of instruction that I received, because it benefited me personally. A lot of the kids that pursue, career tech or career and technical education, they're not always going to go on to be lawyers or bankers. They have a different interest. So, and one aspect that makes my job easy, because we like the same things. And on the other hand, if you want to go into the field and you want to pursue this, you got to be the best at it. You have to have a little bit of pride in your work. So if they're bought into it and they really are invested in the projects they're doing or the repairs that they're making, you're going to get a high quality repair, and that's going to lead them on in the future. They're just going to continue to excel and do the best that they can every single day to be successful in the automotive field. I do. Obviously, we have EVs right around the corner, and I think that right now, the Department of Ed, they're working on creating the frameworks for what do we need to do to teach this. There's people out there in the field right now that are working on Teslas, that are working on EV vehicles. I think some participation with educational side of it would be beneficial for both people, because at the end of the day, I mean, the workforce is getting thin out there. A lot of jobs are open, not a lot of qualified people, and you got to get out there and do it. For me personally, I try and work with some local shops. I maintain a few contacts, a few connections with some people that are actively working, and I'm always trying to see, is there something else I should be adding to this? There's something else I should be adding to that, and just trying to take my experience from the field back to the school. We have an advisory board meeting, so we meet twice a year with a lot of people from the community and try and reinforce what they think is the best approach. Anything that's coming out new, if they say this oscilloscope isn't it anymore, you guys got to use the picoscope, whether it's tools, technologies, if it's a diagnostic process. We always try and maintain ourselves, keep ourselves up to date the best that we can too. We don't have a lot of that in the field. I had some issues with John Deere. They're very, tight knit about their information, and you almost always have to call a dealer, even for little things like a DPF filters plugged. You have to have them come and do the regen process of it. At the moment, we're not really seeing a lot of that. We can get into most things if it's something that's kind of above our heads, or we don't have access to the tooling. There's definitely ways that would be great. In the past, I know some of the manufacturers, they had some programs that would support vocational classes, and it seems like a lot of that stuff is kind of thinning out. If manufacturers are willing to provide more tooling or diagnostic tools and have some kind of that would really help us reinforce what they're actually going to see out in the field. And the better job that we can do, the better the people that are hiring are gonna get. If we have really good, high quality students that are educated on the tools that they're actively using, well, you're hitting the ground running. You don't have to say, okay, well, here's IDS, here's how you use it. You can just say, all right, scan this. Oh, can you do a cylinder contribution test on that? And you could just send them off to doing it. I do wish that there was a little bit more access for us with things like module programming, things like that. That'd be really cool for some of the upperclassmen to have access to, but unfortunately, it's just not really in the cards right now. Into one of the other instructors that I work with, he's part of building the EV framework. So me and him kind of been working together. If there's anything that's, we talk about it. We look to build the EV stuff. We're trying to get new tools. As always, our student enrollment is the highest it's ever been. I mean, just in our junior class, we have 20 kids. In our sophomore class, we have 25 kids. Business is booming. Again, instructor of the year for me, I've only been doing it for a few years. I'm only 32 years old, and I haven't been out of industry for very long. I couldn't tell you how honored I am. But for me, honestly, it's a really big honor. It's something that every day I get up and I'm doing something that I love to do. I get paid to fix cars with kids. I don't think that there's anything that's really better than that. For the short duration that I have been teaching, I think, wow, that's incredible. I'm honestly honored and a little bit humbled that my students would nominate me for that. But I am super grateful for their, trusting in me and nominating me for it.
What truly sets Tyler Chrystal apart, say his colleagues, is his commitment to each student's individual growth. He creates a supportive and motivating learning environment, ensuring every student leaves his class with the skills, confidence, and knowledge to succeed in the automotive industry. His dedication to his students in the automotive field make him our April Instructor of the Year candidate. Tyler, on behalf of all of us at Babcock's Media and Tomorrow's Technician, congratulations. You're one of our 6 finalists for the National Instructor of the Year Award to be named in May. Thanks to our friends at Blaster Corporation, we continue to tell stories of amazing automotive and technology instructors like Tyler through our Instructor of the Year program. We've had some amazing candidates this year, but that's the last chapter. The story isn't over though, because we'll be announcing the grand prize winner very soon. Watch for that announcement and start thinking of candidates you feel are worthy of consideration. We'll reach out soon for next year's program, but in the meantime, congratulations to all of this year's entries. You've made this industry proud. For Tomorrow's Technician, NACAT, and Blaster Corporation, I'm Doug Kaufman. Thanks for everything you do.